Hey you guys, so before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is not going to be one of the normal videos that I normally upload. This basically is going to be my review. I have taken Ozempic in the past, and I just wanted to give you guys a review of what I think about Ozempic, the pros, the cons, and then natural ways that you can reverse diabetes, reverse pre-diabetes, and reverse obesity. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm gonna say, like, in 2019 I was pretty heavy. I'm gonna say I was about this size, so I was pretty heavy. And so I started to work out. This was a little bit before the pandemic happening. And so I started like working out consistently, going to the gym, walking, running, and all of that stuff. And I just like kind of like got my way back into the habit of working out. Not so much eating healthy. This was before before I started really digging into holistic health. And so I started to work out more. My body started to change, but the scale wasn't changing. But I can like see like my body composition like changing. And so when the pandemic really hit and they started shutting things down, and I'm in Texas, and they started shutting things down, that's when I kind of like shifted and started eating better. So during the pandemic, most people gain weight, but for me, I lost like 30 to 40 pounds during the pandemic. And I was still working as a nurse. I was working and I was taking vitamins. And I'll towards the end I'll tell y'all what vitamins I was taking, but I was taking vitamins to boost my immune system, and I was also increasing my running, my cardiovascular, because I know that cardiovascular exercise helps boost your immune system as well. And so I would make me and my kids, all 5 of us, we would go to the track, to parks, to trails, wherever we could go to go run, and we ran just about every single day, except for maybe 2 days out of the week we didn't. But for the majority of the part we ran just about every single day. And so during the pandemic, I lost the most weight that I've ever lost in my adulthood. Okay. And so during that time, I was like, I have time. Let's go ahead and start school. And so in the beginning, it was great. I was still in control of my diet. I was still in control of my workout routine. I was still working my 40 plus hours a week. I still was doing everything that I was supposed to do, and I was quiet about my moving around. I didn't tell everybody that I was in nursing school. I didn't tell everybody that I was losing weight. When people see me, they would ask me, I would tell them, but it wasn't something that I was just like going around telling everybody. And so once they started opening up things, I had got this job opportunity to work full time. Even though I was working full time hours, I was considered PRN, or I was PRN, because I didn't have a home within this place that I was working at, right? I was a float nurse, basically is what I was. And so I got the lady, she wanted me so bad, and she seemed to be like very, very nice or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take it, I'll take it. I wish I didn't take it. I enjoyed the people I work with, but the stress level of it was just like, and it wasn't even, the job wasn't even stressful. It was stuff that I loved doing. Baby, wound vacs, wound care, that was me all day, every day. Loved it. But that wasn't, it was management, and then on top of, you throw school off on top of there, it became stressful. And so the hard work that took me 3-4 months to get, the 30-40 pounds that I lost, that hard work went all the way down the drain within 6 weeks. School started getting harder for me. Stress level started going like even higher. The kids going back to school and all that, it was tough. It was tough for me. And so I started gaining weight. And at first I didn't notice until I started trying on my scrubs, and I was like, ooh, it's a little tight on the sides. Okay, it's a little tight on the back. Like, it's getting tight to the point to where I wasn't even able to wear my scrubs at all because I couldn't even get them over my head. I had gained that much weight. So I started to get concerned because I was like, this is not natural for me to gain this much weight or whatever. And so I make a doctor's appointment to go see my doctor. And prior to her ever, prior to my doctor seeing me, she remembered me as being this size. She don't remember me being small, because during that time, during the pandemic, I didn't go to the doctor. I tried to avoid going to the doctor because I was trying to stay out of places where people would be sick. I know it's crazy, right? Because I'm a nurse. But during the pandemic, I was working at a call center as a nurse for the employees. So I still was not around sick people like that. I did not work the floor like other nurses did. I was working in the call center. Okay. So she was like, well, I don't understand why you're saying that you gained 30-40 pounds or whatever, because your weight has not changed. Like, this has been your weight for so many years. Like, your weight hasn't changed, it hasn't fluctuated, your vital signs are good or whatever. And so I explained to her what happened. I showed her some pictures, I showed her how I was eating and all of that, and she looked at me and she was like, oh, now I get it. And so I also told her, like, the stress of school, like I was getting brain fogged, I was tired, and I was like, I think maybe it's depression. And she's like, no, it's not depression. So it was actually the nurse practitioner I went to see. It wasn't my actual doctor, but it was the nurse practitioner. And she was like, I've been there, I've done that. It's not depression. You're having brain fog, and it could be because of information overload. So I said, okay. So I did my own research, and I started taking Ashwagandha vitamins, right? But she was like, I want you to start intermittent fasting to kind of get that weight off. But during this time, I want to get some blood work from you. So she gets some blood work from me. She set up an appointment for me to be seen within 6 weeks so we can go over the blood work, get the blood work. I get the results within 2 weeks. And within those 2 weeks, I get the blood work and it says pre-diabetic. And I said, I know you lying. No, we ain't gonna do that. And so I was trying to get back to intermittent fasting because I've done it before and I was successful. During the pandemic, I was even intermittent fasting. Done it before, I was successful, but for some reason I could not get myself to do intermittent fasting to save my life, right? Okay. So I go back and she was like, you lost a pound. And I was like, woohoo, 6 weeks, I lost a pound or whatever. And I just broke down and I told her, I said, the intermittent fast is not working for me. I need something to help me. I was like, because it's brain fog, like it's getting a little bit better. And I know Ashwagandha, it has to build up in your system. I know that. And so I had told her, I was like, and my eating is just worse. Like, it's the worst it's ever been. And so she was like, well, I could put you on metformin because you are pre-diabetic. And I said, oh, that's where you lost me, baby. I ain't taking no metformin, because if y'all don't know, metformin is for pre-diabetics and it's also for diabetics. But metformin is so hard on the kidneys, and that's one thing I was like, that's a hard no for me. Like, I'm not gonna take metformin. And if anybody know, when I was pregnant with my son, I took metformin and it was the worst pregnancy of my life. And my son was born 4 weeks early. He was 12 pounds, 3 ounces. I had to have an emergency C-section, and my son did not come home for 3 months. So metformin is always going to be a no for me. So she was like, well, we have this Ozempic, that you can try, or whatever. And she was like, it's a shot. And she knows I don't like shots. And so I was like, well, what kind of shot is it? She said, you give it to yourself. The needle is paper thin, and you just inject yourself in the stomach. And so I was like, cool, I can do that or whatever. And so prior to me picking it up, I had a dream. And because, let me back up a little bit. Prior to the doctor's appointments, a lot of the nurses that I was working with, they were getting ready to start Ozempic. And then some of them were making doctor's appointments to get on it. So it's like I heard about it. I wasn't really too much sure about it. In my head, I thought that Ozempic was a weight loss tool. I didn't know that it was for diabetes, because all the nurses that I was working with, they weren't pre-diabetics. They were using it for weight loss. And so when she told me that I was approved, that I could get Ozempic, prior to me picking up that prescription for the Ozempic, God gave me a dream, just like kind of like an approval. It was like me going through the doors, and then Ozempic or whatever was on a piece of paper or whatever, and it said approved. So cool. I knew that God approved of it, and so I was fine. So I went and I picked up my prescription, and I started taking Ozempic. The thing, and I was losing weight on Ozempic. So this part, I just want to kind of tell y'all some of the cons of when I was taking Ozempic, and I'll tell y'all the pros towards the end, but I want to start off with the cons. One of the things that I did not like when I was taking Ozempic was the constipation. I was constipated, and when I would go to the bathroom, and I was only going to the bathroom maybe once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, and it would be one time, and it would be very little. I will always stay bloated, always feeling sick, right, when I was taking it. And when I would go to the bathroom, I would bleed. That was a red flag for me. So not only did I work in a treatment room, I worked next door with colorectal, and I was cool with the nurse practitioner and some of the doctors. And so I was telling them what I was experiencing, and in their head, they're saying, oh, you just need to up your fiber. And I'm sitting over saying, like, I eat fiber. I take fiber supplements on top of, and I drink lots of water, because we know fiber can do the adverse effect, right? It can cause more damage if you don't drink plenty of water. And I'm drinking my water or whatever. I'm taking fiber, and on top of that, I'm big on green vegetables. I'm big on dark green vegetables, right? And so I was telling them that, and that was not helping me any. I wasn't putting two and two together. So the other con was the feeling sick. It didn't matter what type of sweet it was. It could have been a cookie. It could have been a cookie this small. It could be strawberries. It could be grapes. It could be a banana. It didn't matter if it had any natural sugar or unnatural sugar off in there. I cramped. I cramped. Those cramps were so bad. Like, it was worse than labor pains to me. And I was at work, and I was having to deal with that. I couldn't tell my boss I need to go home because I'm on Ozempic and it's making me sick. But my doctor wants me to take it, and I opt to take it for my to not be pre-diabetic. And so I would cramp really bad, and I would always feel nauseated or whatever. So at some point, and I did. So this is a pro. The only pro that I can come up with was it did help my A1C. I was no longer pre-diabetic. But moving along, the weight loss that it suggested that you would have, it was very, very slow. And I wasn't used to it being slow, because when I was intermittent fasting, when I changed the way that I ate, when I was drinking my green juices and cut out the soda, cut out the sugar, all of that stuff, the weight was just falling off of me. Like, it was just falling off. I was used to losing 2 to 5 pounds a week. Sometimes it would be 6 pounds a week, but 2 to 5 pounds was average that I was losing a week. And I was also used to having energy. With Ozempic, I had no energy. And I don't know if it was because of Ozempic, or was it because of, like my doctor said, information overload due to school and me still working 40 hours, going to work, working 40 hours, working with patients. So fast forward, I decide, or in my head, I was like, okay, my A1C is where it needs to be. I want to stop taking Ozempic. Now, when I stopped taking Ozempic, I want to say my weight was down to 204. I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but my weight was 223. That was the heaviest I was. Like, I have never been that heavy. And so my weight ended up going all the way down to 203. So, and my A1C was good. And I was like, okay, from here, I can handle it. I'm going to work out, and I am going to eat healthy. This was before I got really deep into my holistic health journey. And so 2 months go by, my doctor see me, and I hadn't been taking it, and I did end up gaining, I'm gonna say about 5-6 pounds. And she hadn't seen me, and she was like, oh, you're doing so good, this, that. And I had told her, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I stopped taking it or whatever. And I was like, and I know it's been about 2 months. I was like, but I actually gained 4 or 5 pounds. I said, and I did, I really did slow down, like my eating and all of that stuff. And so she was like, well, that's okay. We'll I'll prescribe you some more. I want you to keep taking it or whatever. And I was like, well, I really don't want to take it because of the constipation and the bleeding. To me, that's worrisome. Don't worry about that. This is what she was saying. Don't worry about that. I'll prescribe you some laxatives that you can take to kind of offset it. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, like, I don't want to be stuck taking laxatives all the time. I'll work with, sometimes I had 2 jobs. Sometimes I will work with older people and they have to take laxatives for the rest of their life because their bowels won't move. I don't want to be that girl. Like, I don't want to be that girl at the time. I think I was 33. Yeah, I had to be 33 or 34 because I'm 37 now. At the time I was 33 or something like that. And I was like, I don't want to be in my 30s having to take laxatives or whatever. But she just kept pushing it. And something inside of me was like, no. Your A1C is still good, Jara. You don't need to go back. Like, just keep working. Keep working on it. You got to keep working on it. But I pushed that thought in the back of my mind and I took it again. So October comes and I take this shot. I took the shot when my husband went to the store. I went on ahead and took the shot. He was down. And so he was like, let's go out to eat and let's go have drinks. I don't really drink. And if I do drink, I have 1 drink. I don't drink. It's not for me. It's not for me. And so I said, okay, cool. So we went out to eat and we had some drinks. I had 2, which is out of the norm. And I don't know how many my husband ended up having. So we ended up having some drinks and I got sick like a dog. And at first I was like, I know it can't be y'all. It was just 2 drinks. And y'all know when y'all go out to eat, they water the drinks down. So it's not like it was like this potent drink. It could have been, I don't know. But I got like sick. So we go upstairs and both of us, we go to sleep or whatever. And I wake up in the morning and I said, I don't feel good. And my husband like looking at me like, you don't feel good. You only had 2 drinks. Surely you don't have no hangover. And he know the type of woman I am. Like, I won't do anything, or at least I don't want to do anything. I won't do anything that's going to jeopardize my walk with Christ, period. I don't care. Like, I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize my walk with Christ. So of course I didn't have no hangover. But he was like, those are like symptoms of a hangover. And so I was like so nauseated and like so sick, stomach cramping, and even my spit hurt. Like, I would go to swallow and my spit would hurt me. And I was like, I need to go to the emergency room. Like, I can't. And so he took me to urgent care. And so I was telling the doctor was like, what all happened. And so I had told him, I said, I had 2 drinks last night. And then I woke up in the morning and I've been sick like this. This is the afternoon. And he was like, 2 drinks is not going to do you like that. So I know the dude probably thought that I was lying. And he said, did you start anything new? And I told him, I said, well, my doctor got me put back on Ozempic. And he just kind of like looked at the nurse and then he looked at me. He said, you shouldn't be taking Ozempic. And I was like, well, she wants me to keep taking it to keep helping my A1C and to help me lose weight. And he was like, the Ozempic, it causes all these symptoms that you're having. He said it wasn't the alcohol, it's the Ozempic that you're taking. I had to get 2 liters of normal saline. I had to get Protonix IV. I had to get Phenergan IV while I was there. Remind y'all, I don't like needles, period. And an IV, the nurse blew the first one, which wasn't his fault. I'm gonna let you guys know, if you're getting an IV and you're dehydrated, guess what? Them veins ain't what them veins supposed to be, so they're gonna blow. And so I already knew it was gonna blow, and so he ended up getting the second one. And so he sent me on my way. He sent me with some medicine or whatever. So at this point, I'm upset. I have an attitude because here I am trying to save. Like, ain't nothing wrong with my kidneys, ain't nothing wrong with my liver, but I also know how medicine works. Medicine is filtered and all that stuff in your kidneys, and if the medicine is harsh, it's harsh on your kidneys. So if I do have to take something, I don't want to be on something long term because I don't want to kill my kidneys, right? Okay, so at this point I'm upset about the whole ordeal. Like, I'm just sitting there saying, like, I should have never took that Ozempic shot. Like, God blessed me to take it as long as I took it, even with the side effects, and I should have been done with it because it did what it needed to do, and it was time for me to take hold of my health. Okay, so I sent my doctor a message, and I was like, hey, I'm not going to take the rest of that. We'll have to come up with something else because I got really, really sick. I told her everything that happened or whatever. And then so she was all like, no, it wasn't the Ozempic. The Ozempic is not what did it or whatever. Keep taking it. And I'm sitting over saying, keep taking it. I don't want to keep taking it because I don't want to. Jara don't like to feel sick. Jara don't like being sick at all. Like, I don't like feeling sick. And so I just, in that moment, I made that decision not to take it. Those shots are still sitting up on my dresser, which probably after this video, I'm going to get rid of. So the pro, even though we just got done talking about it, the pro to it was my A1C did go down. And on top of that, I did lose a little bit of weight. And it wasn't a lot of weight. Like I went from 223, like I said, to like 204, 205, one of those. But once I got done taking it, even though I was working on myself, the weight came back. The weight came back. And that was stressful. That was stressful, and it was painful because I didn't want to be in pain and stuff anymore. And so I'm telling you guys this, and it's nothing against Ozempic. Listen. Pray about it. If you get the okay, like I get the okay, use it for what it's for, and then stop. But for the ones that want to do it naturally, I have some tips for you guys. So when I was losing weight the first time, and when my lab works and stuff was A1, the one thing that I did in the morning time was before I ate anything, before I went anywhere, I did me an apple cider vinegar drink. I know I see a lot of people talk about how it helped them lose weight and all that, and it does help you do that. But not only does apple cider drink help you lose weight, it also helps lower your A1C. It helps you not be a diabetic. It helps you reverse the curse of diabetes. So what I would do was get a cup of water. I would warm it up. I will squeeze me half a lemon off inside of there. I'll put me some cinnamon off inside of there and a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and then I will squeeze me some honey off in there, and I would drink it like it was a warm tea. I would sip on that with a straw because, you know, the apple cider vinegar will damage your enamel on your teeth. The other thing that I was doing that a lot of diabetics I feel like should do is increasing their green dark leafy vegetables. So making those green juices also helps because it's low in carbohydrates, and carbohydrates break down into sugar, and so it's low in carbohydrates, and on top of that, it's great for the blood. And so I would make me a green juice. I would either put an apple with it, or I would put an orange with it, or I will put a pineapple with it, because pineapples are natural enzymes, right? So if you ain't breaking your food down and you got a lot of fat to break down, pineapple is your go-to. So I would drink, I'm gonna say I would drink 1 or 2 of those actually a day. I cut out all soda. I cut out all sugar. I cut out all breads. I cut out fried foods. My husband actually bought me an air fryer, so I wouldn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And if you know how to work the air fryer, then you'll be able to make that chicken taste like it's, and look like it's actual deep fried chicken. And so I started doing air frying my food or whatever. I started blackening my fish, or baking off my food, or whatever the case may be. And so I did that. So if you're a diabetic, you want to make sure that you're low in carbs and high in protein. And you don't have to get your protein from meat. If you don't want to eat meat, don't eat meat. But as for me, I was eating somewhat of meat, but I didn't eat meat every day either. So let me go ahead and put that out there. As well as I started drinking half a gallon to a gallon of water every day, which also helped me because it helped my cravings. It kind of kept me full too throughout the day, me drinking half a gallon to a gallon of water. Me working out and exercising, that was the biggest thing, because not only did that help me like with the weight loss and help me reverse pre-diabetes, it also helped me with, remember, I don't know if y'all remember me saying in the beginning of this video, I had brain fog. I don't experience brain fog anymore. I may be like a little chunky now, but I still go running. I still go walking. I go outside. I get my vitamin D from the sun. And that has been helping. If you can't run, walk. If you haven't walked in years and you're like, well, I ain't gonna be able to do a mile, well, then don't do a mile. Do 10 minutes, do 5 minutes, build yourself up to that. Nobody's telling you that you have to do these long-winded workouts. It'd be beneficial, but work your way up there so that you won't get burnt out doing it, and it won't feel like it's a chore. Like, you'll wake up and you'll be excited about it. So that was one of the things that I did. And then on top of that, and if y'all don't know, I have a book club. It's called Sister Book Club. And we meet once a month. And we go over like different Christian based books, right? And we talk about a little bit of everything. We talk about marriage. We talk about mental health. We talk about faith and prayer. We talk about a little bit of everything off in that book club. But when I started to lose the weight, I was reading a lot more because I wanted to be more knowledgeable about the things that I talked about. What else did I do? And intermittent fasting. If I have not said that, I did a lot of intermittent fasting, and that helped out a lot. I would do 16/8, or I would do 20 and 4. So 16, not eat 16 hours, 8 hours, not eat 20 hours, 8 for 4 hours, and I didn't snack in between. Another fast that I did, I always incorporated, and I still do to this day. I haven't done it for 2024, and I just have to figure out a great time, but I did the Daniel fast. If y'all have never ever done a Daniel fast, I'm telling you now, do a Daniel fast. Do a Daniel fast. It's 21 days, and you will be very surprised about the clarity that you will receive doing a Daniel fast. And I feel like that was the biggest thing that helped me spiritually, mentally, and physically, was when I was doing the Daniel fast. And so I know it's time for me to do another one. And then I used to also do a juice fast because my husband had bought me the juicer and I wanted to test that out. All right, you guys, that is it. I hope that this was very informational to you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll probably come back on next month. I missed 1 month, but I'll be back next month to give you guys an update on my health. But not only that, I'm going to also give y'all some more gems and tools that y'all can use to reverse the curse of y'all family history. All right, you guys, y'all have a blessed day. Bye for now.